So for today's video, we are doing up a Mongolian beef ramen, if you will. It's a little recipe I found from Tasty, but I'm kind of making my own. So what we're going to need is 2 packs of beef flavored ramen. We are going to go ahead and cook our ramen according to instructions, which will be about 4 cups of water, 2 per pack of ramen, for them to cook in, along with the beef flavoring that they come with. We don't want to be like, just try not to be wasteful. So we're going to use the beef flavoring packets that they come with. So we're going to go ahead and put those on to cook as you would normally. In a separate pot, I'm going to get my veggies going. They're just frozen vegetables from Walmart. They're $1 a packet. I got my carrots and my corn, throwing them into a pot, and we're going to add some seasonings with them while they cook. So as my veggies are cooking, I went ahead and added in some minced onion. You could also do minced garlic, would be very good. I only have garlic salt on hand, and we all know that ramen is very salty anyways, so I'm a little leery of adding it for my dish. But minced garlic would be awesome if you have it on hand. So I already have it in here with my veggies as they're cooking. I just did a healthy amount, just eyeball it, whatever makes you happy. So to this, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of soy sauce just to add my veggies some flavor as they cook. Not much, because we're going to need more of this later on. And then I'm also going to do a little bit of rice wine vinegar. Again, not a whole lot. We just want to give our veggies some flavor as they're cooking. Okay, you're going to need a couple of good sized steaks. Here I've got some leftover steak from the other night, so that's just what I'm using because I have it on hand. It already had seasoning on it, but that's not really prudent to the video. Regular steaks is going to be just fine. So I've got them cut up into nice bite-sized pieces, and I'm going to coat them all with some cornstarch. This is going to help us create a bit of like a cornstarch slurry later as they cook. We're going to give them all a nice little toss in here. Okay, and then I also have 1 drain can of mushrooms. These are, I believe, the button mushrooms. I don't know. Use whatever mushrooms you have on hand. If you have fresh, use those. If you got canned, use those. Doesn't really matter. You can even opt out of the mushrooms if you don't like them at all. So we're just going to toss all this into a frying pan with some oil to cook it up. So back on over here, we're going to add a little bit of oil to our pan. Of course, if you're working with raw steak, you're going to do about 3 minutes per side. About a medium heat or so. Mine, as I mentioned, are leftovers. They're pre-cooked. I'm just heating mine back up, so mine won't take nearly as long. At this point, you would want to salt and pepper your steak. Again, mine already has seasoning on it, so I'm going to skip that step. Some extra onion flakes. And of course, if you have raw onion, you could toss those in right now as well. And if you want to do garlic, if you have that on hand. Okay, while our steak is cooking, we're going to go ahead and drain off our ramen noodles and make sure you reserve at least a cup of the beef broth. Okay, to our mixture here, we're going to go ahead and add our 1 cup of beef broth, 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And then 1 tablespoon of the rice wine vinegar. As this all cooks and simmers, it's going to start to come together and thicken up with a bit of a thicker sauce. Okay, now we can go ahead and add in our veggies. Then I like to come in through here and give everything a bit of a rough chop with some kitchen scissors. because we get some really big hunks of broccoli in there. And now we can add in our ramen noodles. And there you go, guys. We have a lovely beef and broccoli ramen dinner. So for this dish, you're going to need some shrimp. My shrimp came frozen, so I just have them thawing out right here in a little bath of lukewarm water before I put them in the pan and start cooking them. Super easy to do with shrimp. Just throw them in lukewarm water, let them set, they'll thaw out. Then over here for our ramen, I've got a pot of water going. I didn't measure, don't worry about that. I went ahead and added in my 2 packets of flavoring because we're just going to use this to flavor the noodles as they cook. They will absorb the water and therefore absorb the chicken flavoring, giving them a super, yummy flavor. Don't worry about salting the water because ramen has plenty of salt in it. So we're just gonna let this boil and cook, and then we're gonna drain it. Again, we're not too worried about keeping the water here. We just want the noodles to have really good flavor. So I'll be back with you guys when we're ready to start on the veg. Okay, so I've got a frying pan heating with probably about 2 tablespoons roughly of oil in it. Give it a quick little switch around. In case I didn't mention earlier, I used 2 packets of the chicken flavored ramen for this dish, and I did go ahead and add in 1 can of mushrooms. That's completely optional. I put them back here in the pot with the ramen as they cooked because the mushrooms are going to soak up all that chicken flavoring as well. So here in this pot, I'm just going to go ahead and add my veggies, which I don't think I showed you guys either. This is from Bird's Eye, and it is a stir-fry, Asian-style stir-fry. It comes with all your veggies, and it comes with the sauce packets. So we're just going to toss it right on into the frying pan. So this meal kit is supposed to offer 2 meals in total. I believe it's supposed to be like 4 servings per meal. It says it comes with about 13 servings in the entire container. So I eyeball it. I put in about half, and then I'm going to get some more frozen veggies and add to this as well. So I like to just add in an extra bag of frozen broccoli. These are like 88 cents. Just because, as you can see here, it's a lot of carrots and a lot of like peppers, and there's little baby corns in here. There's not a whole lot of broccoli. That's kind of it. So this just adds a little extra to it. So I like to kind of make like a little hole there in the middle, and then I'm going to throw my sauce packet on in. So I went ahead and drained my shrimp. They're still a little bit frozen, but like the vegetables are frozen, so they can all kind of throw all up together. Throw that all in. Of course, if you'd rather do beef or chicken, by all means, feel free. So we're just gonna wait for this to cook and simmer down, and then we'll add in our noodles. Okay, so I've definitely made a mistake here. Hopefully we can salvage this and it'll still taste really good. We'll just have to play it by ear. My shrimp was not fully thawed, neither were my veg, which shouldn't have been a big deal. The issue comes into play that I put my sauce packet in, and I should have waited until everything was thawed out, because now my sauce packet has mixed in with the water from everything melting off, and I'm not sure how well all of this is going to turn out. So mistakes happen in the kitchen. Sometimes you gotta roll with it. Sometimes they're happy accidents. Maybe everything will taste just fine. We'll have to play it by ear. So while everything kind of renders, comes together, my shrimp is still a little bit frozen, I'm going to add in a little bit of the rice wine vinegar that I have on hand, just to add a little extra flavor. Assuming you don't make the same mistake that I did and you wait until everything's cooked and then do your sauce packet, you should be just fine. So I think that this is, you know, cooking off the water about as quickly as it's going to. My shrimp is already cooked. You know your shrimp is cooked when it's got a pink coloring to it, and all the blue in it is gone. So, and my shrimp has already been shelled and detailed and a lot of stuff. So just something to be careful of when you buy your shrimp. So I went ahead and drained my pasta. We're gonna go ahead and throw it in here and let it simmer a little bit longer, and hopefully the pasta will help just absorb some of the extra liquid, because again, I messed up. Like, if you did this with your shrimp and your veg first, cook down all the water, or if everything got cooked and you still had a lot of water, you could just drain it and then add your sauce packet. Be a whole game changer. Okay, I think this is about as cooked down as it's going to get. It's still soupier than what I had hoped for, but you know what, we're gonna plate it up and give it a taste. So I either lost the footage or forgot to film it of me plating this dish. So I'll go ahead and let you guys know right here what my thoughts were on it. The flavor was kind of weak. You could still get that sweet and sour flavoring from the packet, but it was very, very weak. So like I mentioned earlier, cook your veg, cook your shrimp, drain all the liquid off, then add your noodles with your sauce packet. It'll be really good. I mean, it wasn't bad flavoring, it was just very mild. So this next ramen recipe is fried ramen, and I loved eating this as a snack as a kid. So you're gonna go ahead and boil your ramen normal. Just go ahead and cook it until it's nice and fluffy, and just don't add your seasoning packet. You're gonna need it now. So to this, we're gonna add a couple tablespoons of butter. I mean, not a healthy meal at all, but since when is anything with ramen ever really very healthy? Put the burners on. We can add in our seasoning packet. I chose to use the chicken ramen for this recipe, but it also works really well with beef. I have found that the beef ramen tends to be a bit of a stronger flavor. It is very good, but it's a bit stronger if you use the entire packet. So I would like go easy on it, you know, do it to taste. But the chicken one should be fine with everything. And all you got to do here is you're just going to start shushing everything around, get the butter all melty, and fry your ramen more or less. Now to this dish, you can eat it as is, just the ramen, or this is a great opportunity to use up any kind of leftovers you may have. If you have any frozen mixed vegetables or even canned mixed vegetables, you could add them in. If, you know, you got some leftover chicken on hand, leftover beef, leftover pork, anything like that, you could easily add that in right here. So that's actually what I'm going to do today. I've got some leftover stir fry and it's got a little bit of beef in it. So I'm just going to pop that in because it's a great opportunity to get that used up and out of my fridge. And it'll add some vegetables to my meal. Because, you know, noodles with tons of butter isn't very healthy. So a little extra nutrients here. And we're just going to work on frying this up until the ramen starts taking on a nice golden brown color. And you want to kind of keep moving it around because you don't want your noodles to burn. Okay, I'm going to bring you in a little closer here. Hopefully you guys can see the difference in the noodles that I'm talking about. You got some strings like this that are just turning a little bit of a darker color. See in some areas. And then you've got like your more normal, like lighter colored. So that's what we're looking for. Just kind of getting a deeper color to them. They're not dehydrating by any means. You can see we're getting some right in here. But they're just kind of taking on a little bit of a different texture. They're not going to be as like soft, I guess. They're gonna be delicious, y'all. These are really good. They just take a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. You can see we're starting to get more and more of the noodles that are turning that like darker cream color instead of the light cream. I'm hoping that's showing up on camera. Like we got it all right here. I think that's a pretty good visual. And you got the lighter color right here. You got the darkers. We're wanting them to turn like that. Okay, and there's our fried ramen. Yum. So good. I love this. I haven't had it in ages. So good. So buttery. It's delicious. You guys really gotta try this. Okay, this is our last top ramen recipe for this video. Of course, my dog is going to drink water. Why would he not? I'm filming. If you guys watch me regularly, you know that's how that works. So we're just gonna do like a more traditional chicken noodle soup today. So I'm making it for me and my husband. I've currently got 2 chicken breasts in the oven, and they're just doing their thing in there, just cooking like normal. I added salt and pepper. They're just cooking. I didn't do anything special there. 350. They're gonna take like an hour because they're massive chicken breasts. So in a pot, I cooked up a mixed bag of frozen veg, carrots, green beans, corn, and peas. I just cooked them like normal. Then I added 4 cups of water. I've since added in my 2 chicken flavorings, and now I'm gonna pop in my noodles. And now I'm going to cover this with a lid and let it cook like normal. Okay, we've got our noodles done. They've absorbed a lot of the water here, and our veggies are all added in. Just go ahead and plate it up. Use a spaghetti spoon. I don't like super liquidy ramen, so if you want more of the liquid in there, by all means, add some in. But I like mine to be a little more on the dry side. And then over here on this side, I've got 1 large chicken breast already chopped up. So I'm just kind of gonna eyeball it. I think the extra chicken breast I'm just gonna pop in the fridge. We'll do something else with it later. So that looks about even to me. And then we'll just top it on top of our ramen. So pretty much like a chicken noodle soup, just a little less liquidy. Okay, and there we have it. There's dinner. Okay, so that's gonna be it for my ramen noodle recipes. A little different take on some of these dishes, or you know, how to eat ramen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and you get some great ideas for things to do with ramen. I know it can get a little boring always being like the same thing, but you can always add a little something extra in there to spice it up, give it a little more flavor, a little more oomph, make it a little more filling maybe. If you guys have any awesome ramen noodle recipes, feel free to leave them down in the description, not the description, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, share them with us so we can try them out as well. I'm always looking for new ways to make ramen. So that's it for me today, guys. If you're new here, I hope you decided to take the time to check out my channel, maybe subscribe if you're interested, and I hope to connect with you guys in the comments below.